Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to this first October edition of Friday Night Frenzy. I'm frozen in carbonite. You can call me Solo because I'm Jon Michael Hoefling by myself on this edition. Week 6 of high school football from around the Upper Peninsula, and it was a pretty good one. A lot of marquee matchups, including our game of the week, voted on by you guys, Calumet Iron Mountain, going down in Copper Country. Let's get to it right now. The Copper Kings, Calumet, the Mountaineers, Iron Mountain, 2 unbeatens battling up in the Keweenaw. We pick it up with Iron Mountain on top 7-0. But Calumet, they were marching down the field like a bunch of Patriots to some Redcoats. Quarterback Scott Lucas pitches the ball to the right for running back Nick Jerf, who's just going to run it around the edge for a few hard-fought yards. Next play, Jerf going to fight for a few more after he gets the handoff and spins out the first tackle. Nice B-button press there. Couple plays later, from the 5-yard line, they're knocking on heaven's door. Lucas hands it off to fullback Jaden Garipi, who's going to push his way up the middle into the end zone for the touchdown. Calumet would fail on the 2 points, so it would be 7-6, Iron Mountain's lead, and keep that in mind. That's going to be a big one. Later on in the game, it was 3rd and 11 for the Copper Kings, and Lucas, he's going to drop back to pass, and who's he going to find? He's going to find Peter Larson open right in the middle, and he'll be brought down by a couple of Mountaineers. This one is close. They'll bring the chains out to measure, and lucky enough for them, it is a Copper King first down. Same drive, Lucas drops back, going to throw it to the corner to Dean Lucas, and it's going to hit his hands, but fall out. Come on, it hits your hands. You hit him right there. You got to bring that in. Iron Mountain takes over, starting at their 2, and it's quarterback Marcus Johnson that keeps it and gives them a little breathing room up the middle. Next play, Johnson gets it in the gun, rolls to his right, and he's going to find Caleb Ivasevich-Hines in some tight coverage, and he'll be tackled, but not after getting a new set of downs. A bit later, Johnson gets the snap and is going to keep it for himself around the right side. A couple of Copper Kings get their hands on him, but he breaks those for a big run. He finally is brought down by Andy Helmanen, and when Jerf falls onto Johnson, tempers start to rise a little bit. Going into the 4th quarter, Johnson drops back and is looking for Colin Visitainer, who's down the field. They connect and pick up another Mountaineer first down. He's down at the 2-yard line. Johnson gets a snap, keeper. He stood up like me on a bunch of first dates in my life, and pushed back a whole cornucopia of Copper Kings. The very next play, though, Johnson's going to hand it off to Bryce Petratonio, who's going to fight, and it doesn't look like he's going to make it in, but wait, the ref says he did. Ooh, that's a nice touchdown. The ref's doing them a favor. Calumet shocked, pointing at the other referee who said they were down at the 1. Controversial call, but the touchdown stands because there's no instant replay, not in the Upper Peninsula at least. Iron Mountain going for 2, looking to his left, finds Petrantonio on the slant. He's in for the conversion. They're going to celebrate and maybe buy the ref a steak dinner. Calumet would make a great comeback attempt in the final minutes, but they drop this one 15-14 to Iron Mountain. What a great game. What a great game. Oh my gosh, I love it. Meanwhile, taking a look at some of the other scores from around the UP. East Jordan and St. Ignace, couldn't get to them, but I'm sure it was a good one. The Saints doing godly things over there. Houghton and Gogebic, though, or Bessemer, whatever you want to call them, the 3-headed monster that is the Gogebic Miners, couldn't handle the Gremlins here. They get doubled up by Houghton, 12-6 the final there. Taking a look at another score from in the Upper Peninsula. This was another good one that we were sort of looking at in Hancock. Almost our game of the week, but still a real good showdown. Very close game all the way down to the wire, but it was put on more ice than the fish at the supermarket after Taylor Delangelo recovered a fumble by Hancock in the end zone to put Westwood ahead for good. And that win means there might be a little bit of change in the rankings coming up this next Tuesday. Let's get into some more highlights, though, shall we? Over in Ishpeming, the Model Towners were still looking for their first win of the season, and they were catching the Hematites at a good time to try to take advantage. Hems, losers of 2 straight coming into this one, so Dion Brown's Gwyn squad might be seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. But on their first possession, quarterback Caleb Anderson doing his best to evade the sack, but then throws in midair. You don't do that. Football 101, come on. It ends up in Ando Swanson's hands, and he's going to push the ball into Model Towner territory. A nice return, even though he didn't score. And they wouldn't even score on that drive. But after another Model Towner turnover, the Hematites had a tough 4th and short and just barely got it by Taylor DeLongchamp. That draw, sketchy, but moments later, John Corkin, stay cool, stay frosty, he's off, and he's Gonski. Pop champagne for him, the Corkmeister, one of the best athletes in the UP, and Ishpeming's up 8-0. Wouldn't take long for Gwyn to respond, though. Anderson going through his reads in the gun. Plenty of time until he drops a dime into the waiting arms of Shafar Evans. Oh, that name sounds like a Disney villain, and it's partly true because he's a bad, bad man. Michael Jackson bad. A few plays later, Anderson hits his tight end, James Harnick, in the end zone, who just uses his pure size on that one. Tie game. In the second, Ishpeming responds. Autobots, roll out. Otto Swanson into the end zone. Monster year for the Hems for him. Ishpeming stops their losing streak at 2. Gwyn continues to fall their own 6. Ishpeming takes this one in overtime, 36-30. Now, some more scores that we got. Munising and Manistee. Come on, the Emeralds, you shine bright like a diamond, but you're not shining here. You got to send us those scores. The Mustangs, very good team. And if I had to guess, I would say that the Mustangs won that one. Meanwhile, we don't have to guess on this one. Nagani at Lance, the Purple Hornets, doing magical things this season. I love what Jonah Dowd is bringing to the table, but Nagani, Jason Waterman, that great coaching staff, Paul Jacobson, just too much for the Purple Hornets to answer. It was a real tough game, but ultimately Nagani would waltz into enemy territory and take what was theirs, like their names were Alexander the Great and their fantastic conquest. Taking a look at another highlight, it's Sault Ste. Marie at Gladstone. Homecoming. If it wasn't homecoming for them last week, it was homecoming this week. And the Gladstone Braves, they were doing what they do best, fighting bravely and throwing bravely deep down the field for the open receiver. Nobody within 5 yards of him. He's going to score so easy. I like to see that. You know you like to see that. Now, the Blue Devils did have some good answers, handing it off. A big hole, nice job by the offensive line. He moved to his left, ultimately get taken down, but not before a huge chunk of yardage. They're in the red zone, and things are looking good. But that last play was a run. Their southpaw at quarterback tossing it up. And, the opponent coming down with it. Gladstone, nice job, nice defense to keep them out of that one. Here come the Blue Devils, though, again. On the run, turnovers, the name of the game in this one. The Gladstone Braves coming up with it once again. That's what you do. If you commit turnovers, you're going to lose the game, because what happens off of turnovers? People score, like right here. A nice little juke move at the end to get into open space and fall into the end zone. The final score was Sault Ste. Marie 8, Gladstone 20, on that one. Now, Marquette versus Sault Ste. Marie. Going to be a very good one, because Marquette, they've got a lot of stuff to fight for. With Marquette up 10-7 in the second half, a lot of solid runs for Alpena. Let's just look at that, hard fought. You like to see that sort of mental mentality. And then the quick screen pass, another huge gain of yards. That was on a 3rd and 10. So a very big chunk of yardage for them right there. And then this play. I didn't catch the beginning of it, but if Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo taught me anything, it's even if you catch something by its toe, it still counts. And you know what else counts? This score for Alpena, a 1-yard rush from their workhorse number 27. He was their workhorse all night. After the missed PAT, Alpena's up by 3. Ensuing kickoff, Marquette getting ready to retaliate, and Mr. Homecoming King, Isaac Johnson, doing tremendous work for his people in the stands, showing off to his brethren. That drive would lead to a field goal for Marquette, tying the game, and those points would prove to be crucial, as Alpena would go on to win by 3, 28-25. Now, taking a look at some of the 8-man scores coming up. This is what happens in 8-man, right? That score looks like it is a phenomenal win for Engadine, but let's keep in mind, in 8-man, you win big sometimes, you lose big sometimes. In Brimley, we know that they're a great team. They were actually ahead of Engadine in this week's standings. They fall 66-8. And then over in Pickford doing what they need to do, 60-24, more than tripling Cedarville. Pickford, of course, one of those teams that's fighting for that top spot in the 8-man polls, and I think that this win might have done it, because that is a very tough Cedarville squad that they just defeated. Wausau Kings East at Kingsford, homecoming for the Flivers, and you can imagine there was a big crowd coming in, and the Flivers, they did not want to disappoint, and they didn't. I mean, early though, Wausau East did get a very big run from their back, chasing them down, but ultimately, you ain't going to catch him. Look at those long legs. Step for step, you ain't going to match him. He was taking 2 steps to every one of Wausau East's 1.5, so you ain't going to catch him. That's the crux of it. A couple possessions later, on the kickoff, this looks like it's going to be a solid return, but pop goes the weasel, or pigskin in this circumstance. What did I say earlier? Turnovers make or break you, especially on kickoffs, man, so you can't let that stuff happen. But since they're from Wisconsin, I'll let it happen because we want the Michigan guys to win. Like right here. Great little slant, great little out move, from Wausau East. Good little move that gets them first down, and just moments later, Kingsford. They've got King in their name for a reason. Causing more turnovers. You love to see it. They go on to win this one by a healthy margin, 32-7. Even though the offense didn't really do as well as they like, the defense came in clutch. Moving ahead, we got some more. RiverHarris at Norway. The Broncos versus the Knights. Normally Knights ride Broncos. Would that be the case here? Would they demand the dominance that humans have brought upon the animal race? Well, RiverHarris early on evading the sack, rolling to his right. Look at him, just magnificent work like a little Russell Wilson out there, and finding his receiver in the red zone, moving down inside the 10, almost to the 5. What a play for them. Then the handoff to the fullback. That's all you need. That's all she wrote. Not quite, actually, but that's all she wrote for that drive. Early 8-0 lead for the Broncos. Moments later, Norway responds. That's what you got to do. That is what a good team does. They respond on the extra point. No good. Special teams will kill you too, just like turnovers. RiverHarris wins this one 42-26. Taking a look at some more 8-man scores from around the UP. Rapid River falling to Ontonagon in Ontonagon. You can't blame them too much. And like I said, this is what happens in 8-man. Sometimes you lose by 40, sometimes you win by 60. It happens. You deal with it, you move on. Ontonagon wins 57-12. And Rudyard shutting out Superior Central, giving them the goose egg, 46-0. That is a very tough one, but Superior Central, if there's one thing I know about them, they're like one of those toys you get out of a little ball machine because they bounce right back up. I expect to see that from them